Once upon a time, in the serene village of Ijebu-Ode, surrounded by lush green hills and flowing rivers, there lived a wealthy trader named Tunde Akintola. His wife Adebimpe was known throughout the village for her beauty and kindness, always helping the needy and sharing her wealth with those less privileged. Together, they had a beloved daughter named Yetunde, who possessed her mother's gentle spirit and her father's keen business sense. However, misfortune struck when Adebimpe fell gravely ill. For many moons, Tunde sought the best healer in the land, bringing in doctors from distant villages, but alas, they could not save her. And with time, her situation got worse. As she lay on her deathbed, Adebimpe called for her daughter. "Yetunde, my love," she whispered, her voice trembling. "When I am gone, remember to be good and virtuous. Trust in God, for He will always take care of you. I will watch over you from the world beyond." With tears rolling down her cheeks, Yetunde held her mother's hand until she drifted into eternal sleep. Devastated, Tunde tried to keep his sorrow at bay, but was unable to shake the emptiness that filled his heart. He threw himself into his work, leaving Yetunde to fend for herself. After some time, feeling incomplete and perhaps seeking a nurturing hand for Yetunde, Tunde remarried a woman named Folake, who was a widow with two daughters of her own, Ireti and Motunrayo. Yetunde hoped that Folake might fill the void left by her mother, but Folake turned out to be cruel and demanding. She viewed Yetunde as a burden rather than a child of her own. Ireti and Motunrayo, having their mother's approval, took great pleasure in tormenting Yetunde. They relegated her to the role of a servant, forcing her to do all the day-to-day chores, cleaning the house, fetching water, tending to the farm animals, and cooking the meals. One warm afternoon, Yetunde was sweeping the courtyard while the sisters lounged nearby. Ireti and Motunrayo snacked on juicy mangoes, tossing the peels onto the ground without a care to make the courtyard dirty. Folake walked past them with a disapproving frown. "Yetunde, why is the floor dirty like this?" she scolded. "Can't you keep this place clean? Get to work or you face my anger." Yetunde, her spirit broken, murmured, "Yes, mother," as she started sweeping the large courtyard all over again. After sweeping, she went into the kitchen to cook palatable soups and pounded yam for her family. She served her stepmother and stepsister's food and sat at the corner of the living room. Her stomach rumbled with hunger as she watched them feast. "May I have some food, mommy?" she asked timidly. "Food? You can eat the scraps left after we finish eating. Don't even think of disturbing us," Ireti jeered, and the sisters laughed. At night, Yetunde would retreat to the room, lay on her bed, and under a tattered blanket, she often cried herself to sleep, hugging the picture of her mother. Yet, in these moments of despair, she found companionship in the small creatures around her, the birds that nestled in the rafters, and the mice that scurried about. They too recognized her sadness and would often bring her small tokens of affection like twigs or seeds. One day, excitement swept through the village as the town crier announced a grand celebration to mark the beginning of the new yam season. It was a tradition to honor the crop, celebrate the harvest, and showcase the beauty of the young women in the community. The chief declared that his son, Prince Adebola, would select a bride during the festival. All the maiden beauties of the land were invited, and Yetunde's heart leaped with hope. She longed to see the palace and perhaps even the prince. "Mother, can I go to the palace for the celebration?" she asked sweetly. But her heart sank as Folake scoffed. "Have you seen yourself in the mirror? Do you even think the celebration is for people like you? You look like a servant, and no one will let you in," Folake snapped. Meanwhile, Folake got Ireti and Motunrayo beautiful dresses for the celebration. "One of my daughters will catch the prince's attention," she thought to herself. On the day of the grand celebration, Ireti and Motunrayo were dressed as Yetunde stood at the corner looking at them. "You must help us get ready. Get us our shoes and bag," Ireti and Motunrayo shouted at her, for they enjoyed making Yetunde's life miserable. "You will not attend. There are plenty house chores that you haven't done," they told her, dressing their hair as they prepared. Yetunde watched in silence, her heart aching as she listened to their laughter. She hoped for even a small glimpse of the royal festivities. But when the sisters, dressed in lovely colors, spinning around in seemingly endless skirts, she felt crushed. They left in a grand carriage adorned with vibrant colors and lively music, leaving her behind in sorrow. That afternoon, Yetunde, filled with longing, went inside her room. She searched through her mother's old belongings, searching for something to wear. She found one of her mother's gowns, torn but rich with memories. She took needle and thread so she could make it presentable and repair it. Hours passed as she painstakingly stitched the gown, tears mixing with her mending as she whispered to her mother, hoping for guidance. Suddenly, a soft luminescence filled the room. Yetunde blinked in disbelief as a beautiful woman materialized before her, shining like the stars in the night sky. This was no ordinary woman. She was a goddess like figure, her flowing robes sparkling with every color of the rainbow. "Do not despair, my child," said the woman. "I am here to help you find your happiness. With a sprinkle of magic, I will grant you a magnificent dress for the event." In a twinkling of an eye, the spirit transformed Yetunde's tattered gown into a breathtaking attire adorned with intricate beadwork and rich designs with a touch of elegance and wealth. The transformation was complete when beautiful shoes appeared on her feet. Yetunde looked in awe and gratitude. "Now to complete your journey," the woman continued, "I shall turn the bucket outside your house into a grand carriage with my little helpers as your horses and drivers." The bucket transformed into a beautifully sculpted carriage, and the birds chirped joyfully as they became our guides. "But what if my stepsisters recognize me?" Yetunde inquired, her joy mingled with concern. "Do not worry, sweet child. They will not see you, as long as you keep to the rule," the woman assured her. "But remember, when it clocks 6 p.m. in the evening, the magic will fade, so you must return before that hour." With a grateful heart, Yetunde climbed into a beautiful carriage and set off towards the palace, her spirit soaring. As she arrived at the grand palace, the whole place was filled with music and celebration was in the air. She stepped onto the grounds with a breathless anticipation, feeling her heart race. As she entered the palace, all eyes turned towards her. Murmurs of admiration spread among the crowd. Even Folake and her daughters stood speechless, failing to recognize the beauty before them. Prince Adebola, dressed in regal attire, felt his heart skip a bit at the sight of Yetunde. He couldn't take his eyes off her. "Can you please dance with me?" the prince asked as he approached her, his voice smooth and inviting. With a smile that radiated warmth, Yetunde accepted, and together they danced to the solemn music. The world around them faded, and for the first time in a long while, Yetunde felt truly alive. They danced through the evening as music filled the air, with laughter ringing like a bell. Yet, as the clock struck 5 p.m., a sense of urgency crept into Yetunde's heart. "I must leave," she whispered to the prince, but he grabbed her hand, pulling her closer. "Please, do not go. Stay with me a little longer," he implored, desperate to know her name. With a heavy heart, Yetunde replied, "I cannot. I'm sorry, I have to leave now." And with that, she ran towards the exit, nearly losing herself in the crowd, and as she ran, one right leg of her shoes slipped off her foot, but could not go back to pick it as she was running out of time. As she left through the door, the prince caught a glimpse of her shoes. "Wait!" he shouted, but Yetunde ran speedily and didn't look back. The prince stood stunned, holding the delicate shoe. "I must find her," he declared, determined to seek the beautiful woman who had stolen his heart. In the days that followed, the prince met with the palace worker and devised a plan to find the mysterious maiden. "We shall visit every household in the village," he announced. His men rode through Ijebu-Ode, spreading the word that every maiden must try on the shoe. The owner of the shoe would be his bride. Yetunde, unaware of the trouble her disappearance had caused, continued her life under the oppressive watch of Folake and her step-sisters. The prince's proclamation echoed in her thoughts, but she remained hidden, knowing her stepmom wouldn't allow her to participate. One afternoon, as the prince and his guards approached Yetunde's home, she felt an unexplainable feeling in her chest. "I must see what's going on," she whispered to herself. Climbing down the stairs quietly, she peeped from behind the curtain as the prince entered, surrounded by guards. "Is there a maiden here who attended the just concluded celebration at the palace?" the prince asked, his eyes scanning the room. Folake presented her daughters with pride, strictly commanded that they try on the shoe one after the other. With each unsuccessful attempt, Yetunde felt no hope, but still she remained hidden, yearning for the chance to put on the shoe herself. Finally, the prince turned to Folake and asked, "Is there anyone else in this house?" "No, there is no one else here." Folake remained insistent, but deep inside, she knew of Yetunde. In a moment of lucky fate, one of the guards noticed a trapped shadow behind the window curtain and ventured toward the room upstairs. "My lord, there is movement upstairs," he called out. Folake, realizing her deceit was at risk, rushed to stop him but was too late. The guards pushed open the door, and there sat Yetunde in an empty, dusty room. The prince looked in astonishment, recognizing her immediately. "You!" he exclaimed as Yetunde stepped forward, her heart racing. When she put the shoe on, it fit perfectly. "I have found my bride," the prince declared, standing before Yetunde, his eyes filled with admiration. Folake, Ireti, and Motunrayo stood dumbfounded, their mouths opened in disbelief. "What is your name?" the prince asked. "My name is Yetunde," she replied, her voice firm despite the chaos surrounding her. The prince extended his hand, and Yetunde accepted. A feeling of newfound hope flowed through her entire being. With joy overflowing, Prince Adebola took Yetunde back to the palace, where they prepared for a grand wedding. The villagers gathered to celebrate the union of their beloved prince with the kind-hearted maiden who have stolen his heart. The festivities featured vibrant dance performances, enchanting music, and an abundance of delicious rice and yam dishes cooked by the villagers. Yetunde's heart warmed as she reunited with friends from her past, offering a kind smile and plenty of hugs to those whom she had missed dearly. She embraced every moment, looking forward to her new life. As Yetunde and Adebola exchanged vows, the sun set over Ijebu-Ode, casting a golden hue on the joyous celebration. With her loyal companion, the village mice and birds, watching from the trees, the couple pledged their love for all eternity. In the years that followed, Yetunde wielded her influence as a compassionate queen. Together, she and Prince Adebola ruled with kindness, establishing programs to uplift their community, helping the less fortunate and ensuring that no villager would ever go hungry or be without shelter. The villagers rejoiced in their good fortune, sharing tales of love and generosity across the land, inspiring neighboring villages. Each year, they celebrated the New Yam Festival, honoring Yetunde and Adebola, who reminded them all that true love, kindness, and goodness could overcome any hardship. Together, Yetunde and Adebola created a legacy of love and compassion, ensuring that Ijebu-Ode thrived not just as a prosperous village, but as a close-knit community where hearts were full and laughter rang bright. And so, Yetunde and Prince Adebola lived happily ever after, forever remembering the power of love, the importance of family, and the enduring spirit of hope that brought them together.